Welcome back, everyone, to Star Trek Online. I'm your host, the Housecoat Gamer, and today we're taking a look at the Typhoon Temporal Battlecruiser. The reward from the recent Temporal Typhoon event. And a very confusingly designed ship, with a equally confusing history. Mostly because, well, this ship was introduced at the start of the game, really. It was introduced as a level 3 NPC vessel and looked particularly ugly. Someone managed to rip the original Typhoon from the STO files. I will not name names. And ported it over to Bridge Commander. So, if you want to take a look at that abomination, I won't stop you. Now, fortunately, the ship as a whole, well, the original Typhoon, was replaced by the command Battlecruisers at year 3. Or was it year 4? Nothing personal, I kind of forgot which was which. Year 5. Year 5 with the Zombie Kim mission. And to be blunt, I was rather pleased by seeing the Typhoon go bye-bye. She was rather ugly. 9 years later, someone decides to drop a surprise on us. A new Typhoon. And now to read from the description of the vessel, from its, lore blog release. Of course, I'm going to be paraphrasing as much as possible. The Typhoon-Class Battlecruiser, though that might be a bit of an exaggeration for a class name, is the largest starship to leave from Andoria's Lankan shipyards. So she's Andorian. To a point. One of several options considered in Starfleet's late 2380s rush to build super capital ships, specifically to deal with Jem'Hadar battleships and Borg cubes. The Typhoon was the smallest of the lot. There was something bigger? If the Odyssey was supposed to be if the Odyssey was the biggest, or just the winner, what were the other contenders? Hopefully we'll figure that out soon. But she was passed over as the next ship of the line, and of course as the next starship to bear the name Enterprise. I consider this a good thing because, seriously, I've seen a lot of bad Enterprise bad ships that carry the 1701F code on her. When you look at the Odyssey is infinitely better. Apparently the ship has undergone a Gen 6 refit after the events of the Iconian War and all that. Well, I'll give E.C. Henry, who redesigned this thing, some credit. It doesn't look like crap. Though I do question the split nacelles. Then again, this is the first ship to use that particular design choice. The Gagarin does have split warp nacelles, at least with the warp field grills, though the Bussard collectors are new. And thanks to the glows, I can't tell where the Bussard Collector begins and the Warp Missile ends. Though it might just be a plating thing. Anyway, lighting conditions, they kind of screw with your perspective. Anywho, let's get to statting this thing. She's a battlecruiser with a 5-4, 3 aft arrangement. 4 engineering, 4 tactical, 3 science. With a lieutenant commander command seat, a commander temporal seat, and basically standard fare. Lieutenant commander science, and 2 universal seats of lieutenant and ensign quality. Standard operating procedure, I suppose. For universal console is the photonic snare projector, which improves kinetic damage and shield pen. Very useful for people who value torpedo builds. Those people apparently don't exist because nobody wants to go, hey, let's actually stick some torpedo launchers on these things. Let's go all beams, despite of the fact that is total idiocy. Always have a torpedo launcher on your rear and your front. Best option. As for its ability, it creates the Neptune's snare. An expanding net that essentially traps people in a proton net of doom that holds people for about 4 seconds. I'm not entirely sure if people are going to be breaking the game with this thing, but better than nothing. And then here's her starship trait. Fire more torpedoes, which deal a tiny bit of kinetic damage. Of course, seeing as I'm on a space station, that particular trait is kind of nerfed at the moment. For example, in space, those stats would be inflated a tad bit due to starship traits and all that. Is it worth getting? Honestly, I ground for the boat. Though, to be honest, I kind of grind for everything. And even the things I don't want, and believe me, there are quite a few things I don't want. The primary reason I ground for them was dilithium, because, well, there are better options out there, including the eventual upcoming 15th anniversary bundle. Still, an extra starship is not something I'm going to be arguing with. The better question is it worth getting? Well, if you value torpedo builds, having an extra torpedo being slung into somebody's face is never a bad thing. That said, outside of its station arrangement, she's basically the same as any other battlecruiser. So, what would be the point of going outside of the Avenger or the Legendary Inquiry? And I know somebody's going to be trying to go, hey, what about the normal Inquiry? Those are just the two off the top of my head. I don't know how many battlecruisers there are in the game. At this rate, I've kind of lost count of what ship does what. Mostly because there are just so many that change hands so much. Some can be cruisers, some can be warships, some can be destroyers, some can be escorts. At this rate, I've kind of given up. And just go science, gunboat, tank. And everyone knows I don't like science ships. Mostly because I'm a gunboat driver. Still, I'm sure somebody is going to find some use for this thing. And yes, I have played around with another tune. But then again, I do have max Endeavor stuff, so your mileage apparently may vary. Housecoat Gaming, signing off.